Hello, welcome to the video. In today's video, I want to discuss environment and some roles that it could be affecting your health and you trying to get healthy in general. So usually when we see junk food in our environment, 90% of the time, at least if you're like me, you're going to indulge in that food because it's just right in front of you. It's pretty much even always in front of you, and you're just constantly looking at it. You're constantly thinking about it. Always, always, always. And it's just every single day it's in your environment. And then you pick it up. Day by day you're eating those chips that are on the counter. Those big bags of chips that are on the counter. You just keep on eating them and eating them. And eventually you're starting to feel sick and unhealthy. Just because that one thing changed. Maybe your mom brought home a big party-sized bag of chips and you took one every single day to school and started eating it. Even though you weren't intentional, like you didn't want to eat unhealthy, you just saw that in your environment, so you just quickly grabbed it. You're like, oh, it's only one bag of chips. But over time, that added up, added up. So now you're eating so many chip bags in a week and you're not even really aware that you're doing it. And only one thing changed. Your mom had brought home a bag and it was in your environment, in the place, in the kitchen. So you just kept on eating. You brought it to school every single day. And eventually you're starting to feel sick and unhealthy. So that's some of the ways that environment can play a role in health. It's really sad now that we see so many parents having unhealthy choices, because usually once the parents have unhealthy choices, the kids too are gonna be unhealthy. It's really the way it is. If you're fat and obese, if your parents are fat and obese, and then you follow in the same footsteps as they do in their eating habits, you're gonna end up the same way. It's just a non-negotiable. Like if a fat person or if a skinny person was in a room with a fat person every single day, they were roommates, eventually that skinny person is going to become fat. It's like your friends, you become the average of your 5 friends. It's the same thing, really. So what are some ways we can get around this and maybe even work with our environment? So first off is exactly that, trying to work with your environment. Try not to really change much right now, at least, but just try to work with it. Maybe you can do you can tweak a few things. Maybe your environment's like a little unhealthy, so maybe you just add one healthy thing. You don't remove anything yet. Just add one healthy thing to your environment. Maybe you add some fruit in your environment. Maybe you buy a bag of apples and you put it in the kitchen where you can see it. Maybe for breakfast you have an apple. You didn't change anything, but you just had one apple. And that's pretty big improvement because you're working with what you have now. Instead of trying to remove stuff and then getting overwhelmed and then going back and trying to indulge in it, now you just add one thing. Okay, you add apple one day, then maybe you go and buy a carton of eggs and you put it in your fridge. Then you have that for breakfast. Suddenly you're having an apple and 3 or 4 eggs in the morning. Huge improvement. Maybe before you were having a couple bags of chips because that's what you saw. Another thing you can do is maybe clean up your environment or your room or your kitchen area. Because once you have those things organized, your brain just feels better. You're able to get something you need instead of having to go through the clutter every single day. And you really haven't removed anything. I mean, you have removed something, but you're just working with what you have now. Maybe you have clutter and now you're working with it and trying to remove that clutter so you're less stressed or anxious about maybe what you're going to eat. Maybe the food's all over the place. And maybe the day before you sort out the food and you put it in where it's supposed to be in the fridge or in the pantry. So then the next day it's easy and you don't have to you don't have to sort through stuff and your mind's all over the place and you're stressed. So that's one way you can work with the environment you have for the better. You can change the environment. by just organizing stuff, really. So that's also another way you can do it. And the third thing you can do is set aside each day a task. Set aside a time to eat, a time to go to sleep, a time to wake up. Just start with those three things. A time to eat. Maybe you have breakfast at 7, lunch at 12, and dinner at 6. I just say that. So you already have those set now. Now you don't have to constantly worrying about the food, the timing of the food you're gonna eat, and you're just constantly worrying about that. Now you have that in place, so that makes you more well organized in your environment and the times you go and eat, and also the time you wake up, the time you go to sleep. Try to make those consistent now. Now you're having this flow of getting organized in your environment. Now you're working with your environment. Okay, I can just do this right now. Slowly, I'm waking up at the same time, I'm going to bed at the same time. And you're becoming a lot more organized now than you were before. Before you were just, mindlessly going about tasks or something, but now you have a specific time and you're going with that. And the fourth thing you can do is to maybe get out of your own environment. Maybe you're stressed out in that environment, or you're having really bad cravings, or maybe there's something just stressing you out in your environment. Change it up. There's nature outside, literally outside your house. You can go and walk in nature, bike, skateboard, run, just get out of the environment, because once you have that, now you're just sorting through things and you're just like, okay, this is stressing me out. Let me go outside for a little. Maybe that calms you down. So your environment now doesn't become a place of anxiety and worry. And then once it does, you just go outside and usually that anxiety and worryingness goes away. And the fifth thing you can do is having self-talk every day. Being like, I did this, I made this improvement today, I'm proud of myself. You put one step forward. Maybe you took one or two of these things that I just said. That's tremendous improvement. And then say to yourself every day that you've made improvement today. Even if you messed up a little, you still made the conscious decision to put these things in place. You put these things in place, you're just slowly leveling up now. You're becoming well organized than you were before. You're just getting 1% better every day. 1%. And over time that compounds until your environment's just full of vibrancy and healthiness. Now you're not constantly thinking about, oh, this environment, if this happens in my environment, then everything's gonna be, no. Now you're just having a healthy environment. Your environment becomes nice and healthy, maybe a relaxful. And you're just working with what you have. You're working with your environment and just tweaking little things in that, so you don't become overwhelmed all at once. So thank you for watching this. There's going to be a lot more videos to come. Please like, subscribe, comment, etc. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.